Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to George Mason University's last ABC match of the regular season. Tonight is against Kent State. I am Hamster Quest, joined here by the Griff.
Hello, everyone. Another fun game of Overwatch tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Hope you stick around till the end.
Absolutely. And so the special notes for tonight are that this being our last match, we are trying to get into playoffs, of course. You need a 7-3 record and a good tiebreaker score in order to make playoffs. And right now, George Mason's sitting at the 6-3 record. So, I believe Kent State is as well. So I think both teams are fighting for a playoff spot. I actually don't. I'm not 100% on their record, but I know George Mason's record. And it is, in fact, 6-3. So we are starting out on Oasis. We're going to be on the right side. We'll move on into the spectator view now.
Ready for battle.
Now this is Oasis. What's it called? Library? University. I got it. So we can expect to see a lot of brawl compositions being ran here. As you can see, both teams are going to be running into the mirror match. Sims likely there just to TP out.
Join me. Group up with me.
5, 4, 3, 2.
See what they do end up swapping to. It's likely going to be a McCree, but you can't always be certain. So there it is. The Cassidy, rather. Both teams rushing into the small room here. Right now, no one's falling down just yet. George Mason forced out the lamp on the side of Kent. They have their lamp to sustain second, so now they're ahead in the resources. A few members left of Kent State to take down. Some members of GMU going back to cap the point that unlocks in 2 seconds.
Yeah, nice job there from George Mason, just all getting in to that wall and taking out everybody as quickly as they can. Right in the meanwhile, staying on the point, forcing the Lucio from capturing while the fight's going on. Just overall, pretty good stuff, covering all the basics. Going to be playing the main objective, or the main choke here. Trying to tag down Kent as they walk in. Matthew stunned up early, but the wall comes in, and that's the enemy Ryan picked off. Going to go on swinging. And a lot of people are going to go down here. Matthew has the Earth Shatter. Probably won't commit it here. Just going to hold on to that for the next fight. Nine are going to clean up some of the stragglers and going to reset here. Nine are actually taking a bit of an interesting flank position. Going to be looking maybe for a stun into the Earth Shatter combo here for George Mason. Matthew also.
See Matthew,
a sneaky
and
spot.
Niner
Gonna get
on
spotted.
the other sides. Almost tries to pick up the other Cassie. Unfortunately, does not go down. They have the high noon, so they're not going to commit the Earth Shatter just yet. But the Blizzard is also committed on the side of George Mason, and that connects with a lot of members of Kent State. So they did have to use that second ult because the Kree ult did not do enough. They're going to stagger this Diva a little bit. They are going to win that fight.
Yeah, George Mason just sort of casting a wide net there. Reinhardt on one side, Cassidy on the other. Just whoever comes in and whichever angle they go to, they're going to be able to find something there. And Mail, just to top things off, make sure that that fight is won for certain. Got a couple of ults here. They might have actually decided to save it because they have the Reinhardt and the Diva Bomb here. Wall's going to go up early and Windows committed from the side of Kent State, but doesn't amount to much. Niner gets a pick on the backside of that fight. That's going to open up a lot of room for him to work with here. Just playing the flank. Only one going down yet. The Blizzard's going to be committed from Kent. It's going to tag a lot of members of George Mason. Sound barrier comes out. Going to save everybody, save for Matthew. Wall goes up. Niners not able to find a sight line here. George Mason just going to back off, try and stay on point here. Take as much time away as they can because winning this fight is going to be difficult with the numbers they've lost. But I say that, Niner gets a lot of damage onto the Reinhardt. Going to back off, just hold them off the point with the high noon here. Lamp is committed from Kent. They're going to try and contest this point here. Window as well, going up with the high noon. It's going to be a lot of damage. Niner's going to go down, and Matthew as well. It banks on the back line. Going to get the Baptiste, but just stalls things out for the moment. George Mason going to take this time to regroup.
Yeah, GMU had a few tools there to try to sustain the fight. The beat, unfortunately, Kent also got that at some point in the fight. So GMU trading a lot of ultimates, but could not end up with the W in that fight there. And Binks' ult actually got eaten by the D.Va, so unfortunately where they tried to turn it with the Mei ult, that got shut down. So now here they're going to have the window to open with as they take space onto the point. Matthew getting some first initial swings, getting a little bit low, but the Immortality is there to keep him up. Unfortunately, Niner does go down first. Matthew getting quite low just when he gets his Earth Shatter too. It's up to Binks on this off angle to get any value, but he does get taken out. Now, right, Amform, as well as Zappat, forced to regroup here.
Yeah, unfortunate. Both the tanks go down for George Mason. Nice, though, is that Wright escapes with his life and going to get a lot of ult charge for the healers of George Mason off of this one. Might be able to work their way up to one here for the next fight. Just the Earth Shatter right now for George Mason. They're going to commit it and get one. Immortality Field goes up and saves. One for Kent. Freeze is going to come out. Everyone brawling right now. Niner and Matthew both going down. George Mason going to jump out quick here and try and get another fight out of this half.
Yeah, they're coming up on a few ultimates. Unfortunately, Kent State has a lot to work with on their own. The ticks are going up to 70%, so George Mason might be able to squeeze 2 fights out of here, but it's really going to be one good one probably just now. They have to play a little bit slower because they are down on the ult economy. They had a chance to win the last fight with the Earth Shatters, but unfortunately Kent State responded with a good one of their own. Now here, the Mei wall coming out, and Kent State forcing GMU into 2 angles. Unfortunately, Binks is not with the core of his team. Amform is trying to make some space by throwing out the window, and they have the beat to sustain, which Kent State will not have. In fact, the high noon from Niner is going to pick up the Lucio on the other side. Wright is getting a lot of damage on this Baptiste. It does eventually pick that up, and now it's just the D.Va left on the side of Kent State. And now they're going to flip that point over in the fight they needed, and there's going to be no touch available for Kent State. Lucio getting booed back there.
Niner doing a great job on these flanks, coming up big. Both the high noons in that match are really large. Swing the fight. Doesn't actually get a lot of kills, but he does it safely, doesn't get traded in return, and gets a lot of damage out. Just swings the fight for George Mason that was pretty close up until then.
Yeah, GMU started out pretty strong in getting that tick percentage up to, I forget exactly where they had it before it swapped over to Kent State, but you know, they only needed 1 fight win after they retook, so that's kind of what they were able to build up the ultimates and execute, so it did work out for them. Now they're moving over to the ball composition, which is matched on both sides. Kent State is going to be running the Pharah, which may not have many answers depending on what Niner is going to pick after this TP swap. It's going to be the Tracer. They do have to be careful here now. The Pharah, they have a Binks to somewhat answer that and duel the Pharah. I think he has a little bit of an advantage, but no Mercy Pocket is available for a Binks, so he has to be pretty careful about what chip damage he is taking. Right now GMU is rotated onto the cliff side. Unfortunately, Amform gets caught out by the brig, has to dodge some cars here, does not. GMU forced back. Looks like there is one member of GMU on the point. I do see ticks.
They have to respect the res, though, yeah, so they're going to give this one up. George Mason going to regroup. Got a couple members to heal, going to stack up on some ult charge here and look for the next one. Let's keep track of a Binks here on the Sombra. Looking for a hack on the ball. Going to try and figure out in the middle of that. Going to give the ball hacked, but they're switching on the fight. Zappat finds a kill on the Kent State's Mercy, and that's going to be the ghost sign. They're going to go in here. Fair is just covering on the point, but it's not going to be a good angle for them from Kent State. They're just brawling over here in the corner. George Mason certainly has the members to take this one.
Yeah, GMU with a swap over to 6-man dive there actually was able to play a lot faster of a composition, and I think this is a great pick for GMU because it is actually very difficult to run the ball comp into this. Not necessarily that you can't, you have to play it very carefully though in order to get a lot of value. So in order to get a lot of hits there with the ball and the Tracer, follow up with the fair damage can be quite difficult when characters are as slippy as or slippery as you know, Wire with the fade, Tracer with wings, translocate on a Binks. Right as I say that, Amform does go down to a hit from Kent State. Now GMU is forced to back up a little bit here. They're losing a lot of members. They still have 2 on the point. Right will go down, so they're going to try to stall this out. Fortunately, there's no real hope of winning this fight unless they stall out until the whole team gets back. Zappat is doing his darndest just to stay alive in the middle of the point. Binks is going to get a little bit of time stalling for himself. Now, GMU actually do get back in time. In fact, Matthew has the Primal Rage, which will be perfect for holding the point. Unfortunately, it does flip over to the side of Kent State, but Amform has a good angle on the Fair, forcing them out. And, you know, a lot of the time, you don't need to kill the Fair. Just force it out. GMU is going to use that space to move forward here onto the point. Even the rally here is not going to be enough for Kent State to hold the point. They are down a lot of numbers, but they had both tanks available. The ball does go down. Now it's just the Diva. They're going to get that percentage close to GMU's, but just after this Tracer gets picked, looks like the percentage actually might match. Only down by 1. GMU's point percentage now going up.
Yeah, and Binks just has really great angles that whole fight. Getting low but staying alive the entire time, getting priority hacks that George Mason's able to follow up on, and even the EMP there committed, just to make sure things are all good. Matthew also doing a great job popping that Primal Rage to get to the point and keep that charge or the percentage going up for George Mason. We'll be looking to take a fight here onto the front line. Matthew just taking a lot of damage here. Going to be okay for a little bit, but eventually going to go down. Niner gets a kill onto the Brigitte in the back line for meanwhile, and is going to be taking the other support on as well. Gets that one. Niner doing a great job here, taking out 2 priority targets. Does go down to the bomb, but you're going to be satisfied with that at any point if you're a Tracer, taking out both healers for the enemy team. George Mason going to have a good chance here. Diva going to get demech'd and Tracer hacked. It's going to be just about cleaning these members off the point and making sure that they can't stall. EMP going to be committed to keep the Brigitte shield down, and there's one more member here. Sombra going to jump onto the point from Kent. Try and find a stall here, but not going to be able to do it. Ball makes its way out, but hacked in the middle of the point. Not going to be contesting much longer. Just some uniform staggers coming in, but eventually George Mason's going to be the one to take it.
Absolutely great play from George Mason. I loved the swap, as I said earlier. It's exactly what you want to do, especially when you feel like you are probably hoping that you're the better macro team. I think George Mason is favored in this matchup. So right now, it's going to be Kent State's map pick. Okay, they're going over to Kings Row already. I didn't even get to move to the BRB screen. We're going to be here, but you know, got to make use of the assets you have, of course. But I can't speak enough about how good that swap was. It's not usually what you think to do, you know, because the ball composition has the Tracer and you know, the Pharah and the ball, and you might think, oh well, you know, if you just sustain the hit from the ball and the Tracer, then you can live, you can fight. Maybe a brawl composition is good in that. You know, dive traditionally is not good into brawl. But because of that spam element of the Pharah, if you don't answer that properly with like the Kree in your brawl, you could be in a lot of trouble. And it's actually probably more difficult to run brawl into that composition than it is 6-man dive, because of how quickly you can move to take down targets. The Brig, the Zen, and the backline are very vulnerable to 6-man dive, and the hits aren't as effective because I did talk about the mobility that's offered and all the cooldowns of those heroes in that composition.
Yeah, the mobility was a really important factor. One of the key fights there that George Mason won, they had the Fair Mercy from the side of Kent in the middle of the point playing on the objective, but George Mason was able to find some of the support players from Kent on the sides, and when Fair doesn't have a sight line into that fight, and you can flick the switch in an instant with that dive comp, makes it really makes a really strong power to be reckoned with.
All right, now we are moving into Kings Row. GMU is going to start out on the defense first. Let's move into here. Oh, my screen. There it is.
Just going to be some more of that brawl composition we're familiar with from George Mason.
Exactly. I was about to say the same thing. I'm like, GMU, no strangers to brawl compositions, are going to pull it out on the Kings Row. We have seen a little bit in the past some double shield, but I think GMU has dropped that and now feel that their brawl is now superior. I do see a lot of macro review talking about double shield, running like an Orisa on Kings Row, like a Sigma or a Diva. But anyway, GMU trying to hold the statue right now, get a good wall. Reinhardt is the target. Both immortalities out. Unfortunately, Niner is going to go down first in the fight, so GMU need to play fast or go into ebb and flow and run back to the other side of the point. They do opt to play fast and keep the pressure up, even though they don't have the Kree for the damage. GMU is going to pick up that Lucio now. They're able to stabilize a little bit on the statue, but they are keeping the pressure up on Kent State, who's not able to convert anything. There's another great Mei wall. Unfortunately, the charge does not quite connect. GMU have to back out here, and no counter charge is available for Matthew. He does go down there, and now GMU switching over to the Hanzo, but he's not able to get back to the point in time. Kent State is going to get that first point.
Yeah, unfortunately, Niner going down there early, and Zapat even makes a hero play and finds the Cassidy on the other side of Kent. But when you're fighting at that choke point, the respawn is just completely in Kent's advantage. There, Cassidy gets back first before Niner can, and they're able to take another quick fight, capitalize on the wall, get Matthew separated from his team, and eventually sweep after things. So, George Mason gonna have the respawns in time, though. Walking up to this choke, just poking, seeing what they can get. Coming up on a few ultimates here. Already have the Earth-Shadowed Blizzard coming up now. They also have the Baptiste window. Dragons coming up shortly. They're gonna go for this Blizzard here quickly, firing it really quick. Gonna wall off and block that Immortality Shield. Reinhardt gonna go down from Kent State. And that's gonna be a lot of their safety here in a wide open area here past this choke. George Mason going to take that fight, pull the trigger really quick, and are rewarded for it.
Yeah, I really like that from George Mason, that they, as we said time after time on these streams, is that they are really on top of the ult economy. I think they identified that, hey, we're not building up any more ultimates. We should go ahead and use them. So despite what's probably usually the good play and hold the other side of the choke, they go and they go through the choke with the Blizzard. Right now here they're pulling the trigger on another ultimate, the Hanzo, which is going to stop Kent State from even leaving the spawn again. Now the ult economy is now shifting over into Kent State's favor, so GMU is going to have to decide when enough is enough here. And they don't have any more ultimates to work with and hold this choke. In the spawn, the Blizzard is coming out on the side of Kent State, so GMU is now in some danger. But Hamform is popping off here with the window on the stairs. Now Kent State, even with the spawn advantage, is not able to find the break in GMU's defense.
Yeah, really great job there, George Mason. Ibinks just standing there with the wall ready and prepared, making sure that if anyone comes out of that spawn door, that someone's going to be separated. Didn't get one there, a couple of people got through, but as long as you're blocking one person, that gives you an advantage in the fight. George Mason going to use that and take another victory. Deciding that they've had enough of the spawn camp, they're going to fall back here, make sure that they can't just lose to the staggering out by Kent. Gonna go back to their own spawn and take another fight here. They have the Blizzard. They're going to use it again. It's not eaten. A Pink's going to get flown to the back line here. It's going to be in an interesting flank position. Knocked off by that and going to be found out. Everyone's going to drop back by Kent and try and take that one. But the bomb's going to come out to try and equalize. Doesn't catch anyone. Kent State able to get back into the hotel in time and pop the beat. But it's not going to save them for long. George Mason gets a big Earth Shatter here. And Matthew's going to get to swing and has the safety of his own beat from Zapat. And that's going to be a close one, but they're going to manage it.
What a scary play. As soon as I saw Matthew get walled on the other side of that, I thought that was just it for him, but he's able to connect the Earth Shatter onto Kent State, and they turned that fight around, which was, I thought, very impressive. Unfortunately, now GMU had a little bit of an ult deficit. Not by much, though, so they're going to pull the trigger fast, which is an interesting play when you're down ults, but they're able to just use the environment to their advantage here, you know, using all these corners. Unfortunately, Kent State is not able to survive that dragon in the corner of the Mei wall. GMU able to push up. Good for us. Matthew playing safe here now on the Mei wall. They're able to push Kent State back to the favorable choke of these arches.
Yeah, that right there was just a fight of inches. Niner barely able to get that dragon off before the Diva on the side of Kent realizes it. There in time, doesn't get the eat. Enemy Reinhardt going to be taken down. Popping window here, answered with the Mei wall. Pretty standard play we've seen so far. Good answer. Just going to fall back and take a more favorable position here. Doing their best not to get separated. Playing these sight lines with the Hanzo. Side of George Mason. Matthew going up. They pop the window. Blizzard going to be coming out from Kent, but a nice Earth Shatter to answer. Stall out the push. Not going to do much. Kent is going to pop some more ultimates. Going to get a pick on Matthew, and that's a lot of the safety from George Mason gone. They're just going to be backing out here, making sure that whoever's left can survive. Zapat was in a sneaky position there for a little bit, just stalling the point. Yeah, getting trying to deny a couple more meters from that push. Give his
Honestly,
team
that
some
may
time
matter.
to respawn.
That
Yeah, it
may
might.
matter.
With being the Lucio, you can get back quicker, so it's worth it to go some of those stall plays. Look at this wall riding right in. George Mason's going to get another contest out of this.
Absolutely. Here now they are able to play at this corner, and now using the dragons to take a lot of space here. Unfortunately, the wall doesn't connect the way I think a Binks wanted to, but GMU making a thrifty play out of that is able to pick up the Cassidy out of that exchange, and now only 30 seconds are remaining for Kent State to come and try to take the second point.
Yeah, Kent State's Cassidy, I'm sure wishing he was a bit skinnier there. There was a little gap in that wall, but not large enough for him to be able to fit through.
The 25
go
health
down there.
buff.
Yeah, right? A little bit fatter.
Needs to lay off the coffee and whatever he.
Oh, the little pie that he was eating.
Yeah, the little pie.
George Mason get a big of a hectic fight here. Reinhardt's going to dash to the point and get a nice Earthshatter out from Kent, but a couple of trades are coming in on the other side. Earthshatter missed from Matthew, but going to be able to pressure the enemy enough to keep him off the point. But behind them, Lucio is fighting for that contest. Right, going to take them both down, both supports that is. Doomfist here trying to make their way, but you're the only one left. There's not much you can do against the entire force of George Mason.
Yep, that was 6 members strong on that defense. I can't believe that Lucio play actually probably mattered as much as it did. If he died any sooner, then it would have been really difficult for GMU to get the contest there on the second point. It would have been right up to that little wall that stops the payload from moving and captures the second point.
Yeah, and just important as well that it was simply the Lucio. You do that on any other character, and you're sort of delaying the rest of your team's push, but with the speed that Lucio can get out of spawn, it's almost always worth to go for, and Zappat making a big play there that might end up mattering a lot more.
Yeah, with that and the, I think we see a lot of times you got to throw your diva on the cart, not just so that you can stall and like get out of spawn with your boosters, maybe attacks from your Lucio. We saw it a few times. If you are not on the objective when you get DMAC as diva, the other team will probably keep you around for a little longer. So there are a few cases to be made for stalling the point. Anyway, GMU maybe now pulling out the Ash here. We saw a little bit of the Doomfist in the last seconds of Kent State's offense, but they are opting to pull it out on the defense. GMU does not have the Cassidy for the stun on that. It's really up to right in your face to stop Doomfist from getting in the faces of GMU. Now here, walking up to the statue, Zappat is on the scout. He's looking for a boop. The wall is good enough without the boop, so now GMU is pushing in. Both Immortalities out. Matthew is getting quite low. Unfortunately, does go down. GMU just running back to the choke. Somehow Binks is on the high ground here. Gets his ice block just in time, but probably won't leave with his life. Unfortunately, Wright gets demeched as well, so he's going to lose his ult charge just to get his mech back. Fight not going in George Mason's favor.
Yeah, it's bit interesting. The flank from Zappat looked like it was going to be good, but the wall was good enough just to block everyone off. Unfortunately, Matthew gets found on the other side of that and goes down. Inform going to get picked here as well. A bit of a good answer from Niner here. Going to pop the dynamite on all members. The Immortality field goes up. They're not safe for long. Zappat getting a nice kill onto the enemy Doomfist. Going to go down after that. And it's fairly even trades here at the moment. Oh, big dynamite from Niner again. Going to pop Bob in. See what can get.
They only have a Binks on the flank, but
and
he has
another
Blizzard as well.
coming in.
GMU is converting this play, which only really had 2 DPS available, but both had their ults, so now GMU is pushing in hard and fast. The members of Kent State trying to stabilize on the other side of the arches here. They force out their Immort. It looks like GMU is just going to cap this point. We do have Doomfist on the high ground, but Zappat finds that, boops him out. Yeah, Kent State no stall here, but now it's got the Cassidy on the high ground. Yeah, great job from right in your face, identifying where that Cassidy was and taking it out. Now GMU is pushing forward through the streets, and they will win that fight for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't speak too soon. I was going to say Niner, after that first loss of the point with the Doomfist getting a couple kills, might look to switch to the Cassidy, something that can answer more so, but immediately coming up big in the next fight and showing why George Mason might have picked this character in this situation.
Yeah, Niner definitely in the past. Actually, he has a lot of clips in the chat. If you guys could check it out, I think it was like on a Blizzard World. Unfortunately, he just go down here. He like lands 2 dynamites and gets Bob off of it immediately. But anyway, GMU is trying to hold this corner here. Unfortunately, the Shatter is going to connect for Kent State. GMU's trying to commit a few ults into it with the window, but unfortunately, they were not expecting to get shattered right. It's now going to get staggered a little bit on the Diva, unfortunately. It's going to get charged back as well. That is not what GMU wanted.
Not the end of the world, though. The window there is just to sort of see if they can turn it with losing Niner. They need some more DPS to even try and make the fight even. Fortunately, it doesn't work out, but they've got plenty of ults here. Literally all of them other than the Baptiste window, so definitely going to be looking to make a big play here. Niner on the flank. Going to be throwing Bob out. Blocking, actually, the Reinhardt charge with it. Pretty good from him. Going to be in a flank position here. Niner 1v2ing. Going to get the better of the Doomfist, and George Mason going to try and clean up this fight on the back half, going into the back of the streetway here. Niners just sort of solo pushing right now. Going to be pinching the Kent players, and going to come out successful there.
Yep, that was exactly what I was hoping GMU would do. They came out the choke, ready to play fast with their ultimate advantage. They just did what they needed to do, and actually they did not need to cap that point. And this is a best of 3, so GMU, I should have mentioned that earlier, is going to move forward with their record and have a chance at moving to playoffs. I can't tell you right away. We have to wait for the other matches to finish for the tiebreaker score. But now GMU, being able to take the 2-0 victory over Kent State, now has a chance at playoffs.
Yeah, very good from George Mason, cleaning out this last game, getting the best scoreline that they possibly can, and they've done everything that they can. Their fate is now in the seeding's hands.
Yep. Not exactly what you want to hear, but at least they did get
their
the
part,
record
yeah.
they need. You know, they did their part. They came in this week and they did their part, especially against the match against University of Minnesota that we saw last night. If you guys missed it, that was another 2-0 victory, and GMU played absolutely phenomenally, especially on Kings Row.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the tougher match of the two, and GMU just came out hot. They were feeling themselves and got that victory. Now, tonight, this wasn't the only match. We get to get an extra bonus game from Mace. It's got to be against Hood College at 9. So I will turn off the stream. I'll see you guys in an hour. It's going to be okay. But thank you for joining us here in the last regular season ABC match against Kent State. Good play from Kent State. Was great to play you guys. We'll see you around. Obviously, Kent State's been a player in collegiate esports for a little bit of while. I've seen them on my PR, I think once or twice. But let's see. Yep. I think I said all the things I need to said. Match at 9. Come back. I've been Hamster Quest, still am, joined by Griff.
That's me, and we'll see you a bit later if you decide to stick around. Please do.
Thank you, and see you then.